Welcome into Inside LAFC podcast every Monday, even the Monday after Easter. I hope everyone had a blessed and tranquil time during the weekend. I am Max Bretos. We're joined by Benny Feilhaber. I hope you had a nice Easter there, Benny.
Thank you. I did indeed.
You know, I remember Easter when my son, who is now 17, I remember him doing Easter egg hunts and so forth. And you get a little nicey little kids do it, and I get a little
teary-eyed, huh?
Yeah. It goes by fast. It's a ride. But my mom always said, could be worse. You could be, imagine you were a dog and they take your babies away when they're 4 weeks old. So at least you get them and they all come back time and time again.
That's true.
As yours get older, you can just tell that to yourself. The very wise Conchi Bretos and some of her little nuggets. So as we always say on Inside LAFC podcast, we're live on LAFC YouTube. We're live on LAFC Facebook. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Greetings to our friends in Korea, including Pop, Bop. Got four hello signs. Hello, Korea. Tuesday morning over there. And I'm sure our Korean audience is a little happier. Still want a heung-min goal, I'm sure. But they got 4 assists from him. 4.5 assists in reality. Should we change the rule, Benny?
Oh, we should change the rule. I mean, if we change the rule,
on an own goal?
If we change the rule, I'd be all for changing the rule. But selfishly, I want to retroactively change it as well. So
how many goals did you have
in the portal and make sure I get all those that were own goals?
I think at the assist at the very least. That play doesn't happen if he doesn't play that ball. So we can't
own goals and penalty kicks. They should be assists.
I'm with you, man. And you know who's going to change that? The Players Association.
Yeah.
The Players Association always say, hey, we got to make more money for our players. The way you do that is get rid of own goals. Say whoever is closest gets credit for the goal. Because if you have 20 goals instead of 12 goals, you're going to get more money. If you have 20 assists, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hockey style.
I should be the president of the MLSPA.
I nominate you.
Wow, look at these comments already. And the Oscar goes to Denny, Sonny, and Hugo for the film A Beat Down.
That's right.
Is that available on Apple TV, or we'll have to keep an eye out for it? But it was available on Apple TV.
It might be a sequel if we play Orlando again.
So we're going to pump the brakes a little bit because it was Orlando. I think Orlando's going to be good at season's end. They're not good now. And defensively, big issues with that back line that were because I had a feeling LAFC would score goals just because Orlando's they have an interim coach. They are in, certainly in a malaise, and they just can't. It's so many chances that they give up. Every time LAFC had the ball, they looked dangerous. They get 6 goals. They had 17 shots, and they really pulled it back then. So again, a win's a win, but LAFC is going to face tougher defenses than they did against Orlando City.
And that, I think one thing that's important is Benny Bouanga got himself a hat trick in 30 minutes. That's important. Sonny had the 4 assists. And when you look at a team like Orlando, you do have to pump the brakes a little bit because not only do they not have a coach, but you could see that they're trying some things that obviously didn't work. I mean, they were one of the goals there. I think it was Bouanga's last one where, they were trying to play out of the back and they actually got out and then came back into the pressure and lost the ball. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. Having said that, I think this will be great for the confidence of, not really like you need confidence, but it's like the opening of the dam, right? The breaking of the dam and the water's getting through and the goals are leaking through now. And so Denny Bouanga is well on his way. And as much as Sonny didn't get a goal, and I do think that there's a conversation to be had there. I will say that, Max, and I'd like to get into that at some point. But regardless, Sonny's always going to be a focal point in that attack, whether it's getting all the assists, whether it's getting some goals here soon, or whether it's just being a presence. And I really like the way that him and Nathan Ordaz kind of work together. I really couldn't tell who was supposed to be the higher of the 2 nines, really. Sometimes Sonny would drop in a little bit later, a little bit deeper on the counterattacking moment. Sonny would be higher, and Ordaz would be kind of helping out defensively a little bit. I mean, when you saw, I think it was, again, I got lost track of the goals, but the one where it was a full counterattack where the ball gets played into Sonny as the high guy, he takes a touch and he hits the long ball into Denny Bouanga. He outruns it, cuts the guy inside and shoot. I mean, he was the highest guy on the field in that moment. So it's kind of pick your poison a little bit when you're playing against LAFC. And right now, it's hard to pick which poison's best.
I think that was goal 3. I think, but 6 goals. So much to count for. Inside LAFC podcast. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll get to all the comments. Different formation, Ryan over Eddie. Should this be the go-to or just a rotational formation? I think horses for courses. It depends. Well, look, and I'm going to double this up with Joe's question. Max and Benny, can you explain why Orlando's defensive shape was so bad? It seemed by the time Apple announced their formation, Orlando was in different formations every other minute. And Orlando played a dangerous game, and they paid the price because the book on LAFC is you play a lower block, you keep that back line sort of reserved. LAFC's had one counterattack goal all season. I think they had at least 3 in this game.
Yeah.
So,
well, let me just answer that question, the Orlando question, right? They are in a completely transition moment in terms of direction. They don't have a coach. The interim coach isn't going to be there for the long haul, I don't think, based on what we're seeing right now. And so they're just trying things. They're trying to see what works, and they don't have a lot of answers right now. And so I think we're just seeing
a good time for LAFC to play them.
Correct. It was.
Remember, Antoine Griezmann's joining this team after the World Cup.
You would think that they would want to figure some things out, but that's not our problem to figure out what Orlando's going to do. But I do think that they're just in a completely transitional moment where they don't know what works best. They don't know if they want 3 in the back, 4 in the back, high line, low line, play out of the back, play direct. They don't have many answers right now to all those questions.
And to answer the question about Ryan Hollingshead, because of the way that defense was going to come out, I think Ryan made sense. I think he'll be a candidate to start more games, but I think Eddie's still a real player. And I would imagine probably you see him Tuesday against Cruz Azul. The biggest game of the season, folks. The biggest game of the season is tomorrow night. I sounded like a wrestling promoter. I'm sorry. That will preview that shortly. But that's why I wanted to double up on that answer. Lloris is on fire. Do you think Orlando will hire a new coach before Griezmann joins the team? What is this, an Orlando City pod? I'll say this. I've spoken to the GM, Ricardo Moreira. They have big plans in Orlando. I think they're going to go for a big Brazilian name and bring him. And they're going to really start developing a Brazilian pipeline in addition to having Antoine Griezmann. That's just a hunch. But I have a feeling that's what they're looking for. That's why they brought all these young Brazilians in here, which haven't paid off just yet. Thiago and Iago. So there you go. So Orlando should be interesting down the road. So LAFC got him at a good time. I predict Sonny scores 40 goals this year, but I predict Sonny assists 40. Listen, Sonny leads MLS in assists after getting those 4. He's got 7. So 7 after 6 games. You do the math. He's on track for 35 assists. I don't think he's going to get 35 assists. But I think he's going to get 25 or 30, which would be I think he'll get 25, which is an astronomical number for assists, depending on how they play. So all that is very good. Let's talk about LAFC. Amongst many things, Benny, they are the last of the unbeatens because Nashville and San Diego lost. So LAFC is the only team without unbeaten. LAFC have yet to allow a goal.
It's hard to lose when you don't give up a goal, wouldn't you say, Max?
This is rare, man, right? Am I losing it? Because we've had to explain this team. Hey, they're still growing. Marc Dos Santos is learning. This is an unprecedented start. Unbeaten in 6, 5 wins out of those 6, plus 14 goal differential. And not only not giving up goals, not giving up chances, really. Not even in garbage time, for lack of a better expression, against Orlando.
Yeah, well, it is unprecedented. It's a team that is not only – LAFC have the potential to do what they did to this Orlando team. They did it to Inter Miami where they won 3-0. They're able to score, but more importantly, they are extremely well coached from the back line. They don't give up chances. They don't give up goals. Hugo Lloris had a few shots that came his way in the back end of the game when it was already out of hand, and he made some really big saves. So he's playing at a high level as well. He's seeing the ball. He's cutting down the angles, and so a lot of things are going well. And it's unprecedented because it's so difficult to be this good defensively in a league that's so high scoring like MLS. And so when you're not giving up goals, first of all, I think this is, everybody knows this. You're not going to lose any games. But more importantly, the amount of chances that they're going to give up, that they're giving up right now, which are very few and far between, that's going to lead to only the longevity. I think Supporter Shield is something that's got to be where LAFC are the favorites already, even though we're only early on in the season. Because if you're not giving up goals, you're going to just keep getting points all the time, right? You give up maybe one goal. I know we're not going to get it shut out every single game, But in any game that you get a shutout, you're going to get at least 1 point, most likely 3. And if you're giving up 1 goal, what's the likelihood that LAFC are held to a shutout? It's very small. So I think supporter shield is very, very likely and possible, although we're very early in the season. And the one reason I think, Max, we've had a little bit of conversations throughout these podcasts as to, well, the fans and like the team is not scoring as much as they need to, and the 2 natural goal scorers haven't got as many goals as everybody would like. There is some validity to that, because I think at some point, MLS is MLS, and you're going to give up goals. You're just not going to be able to, keep this kind of streak going for very much longer. So
you keep saying that, Benny, but I'm telling you, maybe.
Hey, I'll say this: if we're 34 games into the season and we look back and LAFC has 25 shutouts, I'll be the first one to admit I did not see that coming. Right, and so they have 6 shutouts in 6 games. Is that what we're at right now? 6 shutouts in 6 games.
Correct.
If they were to get to 20 shutouts, that would be, I guarantee you, some sort of massive record in MLS. Right, 20 shutouts in 34 games. That is. I mean, my guess, what's the highest? Maybe 11 or 12 is my guess. So we're on the verge of breaking that record. Right. Is in a season. And I do think that goals are going to have to come. And we saw the goals this weekend.
Inside LAFC podcast live every Monday. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I saw my friend Malik there make a very lovely comment. Where is he? Oh, by the way, own goals have assists in the UK. I did not know that. I'll have to confirm
that either.
I'll take your word for it. But stuff.
Interesting.
Seeing it in person and filled with excitement. Talking about seeing LAFC. Yeah, it was fun. Max, let's review the table. The table speaks volumes. Here's Malik. A little break from spring break to check out my favorite podcast. Start the week right. And Malik, I apologize for saying you were from Cameroon when you're from Senegal. Malik, I don't know if I told you the story. Used to watch Fox Soccer Channel, and he learned English
through you.
It was the nicest compliment I ever got, and then I immediately go, "You've got to fix that." I shouldn't be, but he is a lovely man, and Malik, a big LAFC supporter. So good to see you, as always. Let's see. So excited about tomorrow. We will have the preview for Cruz Azul here in a moment. The tooth are Sarah Takata unavailable, so we have our crack staff, Will Walsh. 2,000 Wizards have the most shutouts in a season. Care to venture a guess?
Ooh, 2,000. That's my ex-boss, Peter Vermees, was him and Tony Viola. How many games was it back then? 30 or 34?
Dude, just throw a guess.
34. I'm going to guess 16.
16. Very close. 17. Kenzo, I can't watch the game because of the coach's tactics. Come on now. Come on. See, that's I read that because I know no one else feels that way. Because this has been exciting, and we're heading into the good stuff. It was heading into the good stuff. LAFC unbeaten, still haven't allowed a goal. Keep in mind, 4 of their 6 games have been at home. So schedule-wise, it's been, although one was at the Coliseum, so it wasn't a true home game. So it's going to get a little harder, but they've played some tough opponents. Look at this. You got, obviously, Inter Miami. That Dallas team they beat, they were flying. They won 3 in a row. Austin got a point against Miami as they opened up their building. So that's a tricky one as well. St. Louis is better than people thought. Who am I missing? I don't want to rip through it all, but it's been an above average challenging schedule. It hasn't been a bunch of Orlandos. Forgive me, Orlando, but I know I like this Orlando City team. Just right now, they need help. Fernando Perez, good afternoon. Did you see those crosses from Shackelberg?
Oh,
I know you meant Schaffelberg.
I'm glad he brought that up though, because I was gonna give
they were immaculate.
I was gonna give the pedestal to Sonny and Denny Bouanga in this game, but man, you guys don't know about Schaffelberg yet. I used to call him Shuffle Jesus because of his hair, his long hair and stuff, and he's starting to become Shuffle Jesus again. So watch out for this guy. It'll be interesting to see how Mark Dos Santos uses him because he played him on the left. That's obviously Denny Bouanga's spot. And in a game that's not 5-0, you're probably not taking Bouanga off the field. But Schaffelberg's got the ability to get, speed on both sides, but he's naturally left-footed, and he's more of the crosser or tap-in finisher in the back post rather than the guy that cuts in and out like a David Martinez on the opposite side. So it'll be interesting to see how he uses him. Whether he gets some starts, whether he comes off the bench and, maybe you put Denny Bouanga a little bit more as the 9 role next to Sonny at times, or do you put Schaffelberg on the right side sometimes? But he is a weapon, man. I really like the way he plays. He is nonstop go. And I agree with DeCoog. The ability that he has to pinpoint across with that left foot is pretty special.
This team, the competition and the depth is going to be through the roof. Mark Dos Santos telling Josh Gross of the Daily News that Stefan Eustáquio went back to Portugal to get healthy. So that's like the one loose one. And Aaron Long is full training with LAFC. I would imagine we'd see him. Maybe they wait a little longer just because they don't need him, to be frank, at this very point. Although you'd like another defender of that quality anytime. Schaffelberg, Tyler Boyd starting the game, got the goal. I thought everyone was going about Schaffelberg. Tyler Boyd showed why Mark Dos Santos likes him and he played him. And by the way, check out Tyler on Black and Gold Insider, the latest episode. We talked to him. Apparently, a guy you don't want to pick a fight with. Accomplished judo. What's it called? Judo tactician. I don't know.
Judo fighter? Is that
do you do any mixed martial arts? I used to do a little Krav Maga.
I don't, man. I'm like the worst at fighting. So I just stay in my own corner.
Good. You don't get into fights. I mean, I used to get in a lot of fights.
I get in fights sometimes with my kids. I can take them a little bit, wrestle on the carpet and stuff. But
fighting at kids is good. When you're an adult, someone might pull a knife or who knows what. So it's not really good.
No.
Craig, I'm watching Artemis 2 live to see if they could find Orlando on the far side, the dark side of the moon. Those guys will be trying to avoid people. By the way, Artemis, you did not explore the dark side of the moon first. I did in college, putting on Pink Floyd, listening to that album and exploring, my inner space. So this from Joe always has great questions. After 3 matches where the offense was limited, it felt like there was a concerted effort to get Son on the ball to make the decisive pass. Was that the game plan, opponent, or other? Certainly the opponent. I'll ask you if it was the game plan as we talk about Heung Bo Duo, which was a nickname that was all the rage last year. We haven't heard it because Sonny and Denny haven't really clicked. Well, they clicked here. Both are on the MLS team of the match day. Hat trick for Denny Bouanga. He has 4 goals now. He's going to get to 20. Son has 7 assists as he picked up 4 assists. It appeared to me that he was definitely getting deeper. So they played him at 9, or at least the formation said, but it seemed like they flipped a lot with Nate. Nate would go up there, and that allowed Sonny. I mean, Orlando fell into the traps, turned the ball over. It was like Mark Delgado or Tillman to Sonny, and then he would turn and face, and then he'd have his choice. And sometimes they would turn him over inside the attacking third of LAFC, which is a big no-no.
Yeah, I thought that the game plan worked to perfection. I think that you have to say that the opponent that LAFC played against played a part in that. And I do think that, Hollingshead playing is an attacking move where Eddie Segura doesn't provide the same things that Ryan does going forward. And then you played with essentially 2 9s, right? You played with Sonny and with Nate the Great, and they kind of alternated responsibilities. Obviously, Ordaz is going to be the feistier one, the guy that does a lot of the dirty work. He's the younger kid. He's got the energy. He's got the desire to do that. Sonny has to, as much as he can sprint all over the place with the ball, you don't want him wasting his energy on defense as much, although there wasn't too much defense in this game. But Ordaz is the guy that's going to create runs off the ball, open up the backside of the defense, and create those pockets for Sonny. And so I do think that, I don't know if Mark Dos Santos had it in his, pregame meeting or in the training session saying like, hey, we want to get the ball, Sonny the ball in these pockets. But I do think that he talked about, look, with Nate playing as that guy that's going to roam a little bit and run in behind and sometimes come back and help defensively, there's going to be bigger areas of space for Sonny. Nobody's going to be able to just like man mark and maybe double team him with the 2 center backs. They're going to have other things that they have to worry about. And so that naturally started to create openings for Sonny. He found spaces not only in those pockets, he found spaces in behind the back line as well, like the cross that he had to Sergi on the 5th goal. And so he's finding a lot of success in a lot of different areas. Again, with a grain of salt, because I think Orlando was primed for the taking, but it was good to see the team find, Sonny in those pockets and then him be able to find all the goal scorers with all his assists.
I mean, Sonny's eyes were like silver dollars. He would like look at the big gaps between the Orlando defender and slide those things through or over the top. Just a beautiful, and he had a chance a couple very early in that game. He broke past the back line and could have scored. It didn't happen. It's going to happen because somebody mentioned no goals from long range. That's what happens. You take what is given. If LAFC have to score from long range, they've proven they can do it. I know they had those 2 against Houston. Mark Delgado almost had one against Austin. And then if you take the space away, that's what happens. And now they leave the space, and LAFC is able to fill it. They can beat you in so many ways. It makes them very, very different. The Seattle Sounders hold the record 13-0 in 2021 to start the season. I don't think LAFC can beat that because they already have a tie. Is that 13 straight wins? I don't think it was that.
No.
No way.
I'm pretty sure Sporting Kansas City has the record of 7 straight wins in a season. I don't think anybody's won more than 7 in a row.
Boyd is our first player to score an actual header this season. So it's goals in different ways. I'm sure they want some more set piece goals, and they've been working on that a lot, but I would imagine that would come.
Look, before you get to one of the comments, and just to add a little wrinkle to the conversation, I watched the game, and one thing that is very clear is Sonny is not just a guy that, hey, when the pass is there, he's able to play it. He creates the pass in a lot of moments, right? So think about that. I think it was the 4th goal maybe where Orlando loses the ball, and now the ball comes in. It gets fed into Sonny, and Denny Bouanga makes a run over his left shoulder. He's able to kind of pull it back around the defender's foot where he's about to tackle it away from him and play on the ball. So he's got those really intricate feet in like a phone booth to be able to find those moments. And what I'll say is, you said in the 3rd minute of the game, I think he had a massive chance to score, which he wasn't able to. He had a pretty big chance in the second half where Denny Bouanga stole the ball and played it in front of him. It was a shot from a kind of a difficult angle, but he missed the target. And so this is me. Obviously, I'm not in the locker room, and I'm not talking to Sonny and the players, but from an outsider's perspective, you can see it's something that he's struggling with right now. Sonny is, right? He wants to score. His confidence is not there from the scoring aspect of the game right now. He's missing some chances and not getting them on target where you would otherwise expect him to. Having said that, I think that we all expect that to change at some point. And while it doesn't, the thing that's fantastic is he's providing 4 assists plus the other half assist. And so he's not becoming selfish, right? He's not pressing in that sense. Like, I haven't gotten a goal, I need to get a goal. He knows that he wants to get a goal, but he also knows that the right play is the right play. And so he continues to do those things for the team. And look, sure, is it a little bit of like the one little, the opposite of the silver lining? It's the gray lining, I guess, to the overall perfect game is we'd love to see Sonny get some goals now and get his scoring boots on. That will come. But meanwhile, we have a guy that's going to be able to play for the team at a very high level.
Inside LAFC podcast, like the video, subscribe to the channel. There's Benny Feilhaber comment here. How many fans / viewers even know Benny, the guy on the left, was a player? Probably not many. A player, he was a rock star. And I should mention that more often. Benny played for LAFC year 1. Decorated U.S. international. Would you hit the 2010 World Cup? Were you?
Yes, that's right, 2010.
How many games you play?
I played 3 games. I came in off the bench every single game, other than the first one against England.
The Robert Green. Well, so yeah, Benny, right. Benny's kind of a big
that
deal.
Dempsey bombasso that he had on Robert Green.
That is great. I mean, it was a good.
That propelled us to first place in the group.
First place in the group with England.
The group, that's right.
And then Algeria, the famous Landon Donovan goal. Right. Where were you on the Landon?
We stumbled against Ghana in the round of 16.
Competitive.
We deserved. We outplayed them, but
listen,
we didn't win.
You outplayed Ghana. Ghana would lose to Uruguay. Should have won that game. Should have been in the semifinals. Ghana. That was a great Ghana team.
That team. Look, everybody has these moments in their lives, right, where they think back and, oh man, what could have been and whatever. And obviously, as a professional soccer player, those are the things that you remember, those moments. But that 2010 World Cup, there's 2 things that I always remember. One, we didn't have Charlie Davies, who was a massive player for us the year prior in Confederations Cup. He obviously got in his car accident and wasn't able to play the next year. So that was obviously a big loss for us. But we played better against Ghana than they played against us. We could have very easily gone through in that game, and we would have had a 50-50 chance to go through against Uruguay to get to the semifinals. And so disappointing, the facts are the facts. We didn't get there, but it was one of those what-if moments. Man, we could have done it.
That's why winning a group changes everything. Maybe in a 48-team World Cup is different, but win the group. I mean, all due respect to Ghana, you're not facing Spain or Germany,
right?
And then by the luck of the draw, Uruguay, a very good team, but and maybe their best team, but it's still not Argentina.
But they overachieved in that tournament as well,
Brazil.
right? They had a great team. I mean, Diego Forlan was one of the players of the tournament in that tournament, but they were beatable, right? Ghana should have beat them if it wasn't for Suarez's handball, and then they win in penalty kicks. So they were beatable, and it was one of those. We had a good pathway to get to the semifinals.
Very good. How much did you play in that Confederations Cup? That was
the Confederations Cup. I played, I want to say in every game in some capacity, but the only games that people remember are the Egypt game that we won 3-0 to have to get through. Then the 2-0 against Spain, which I came in and had kind of like that half assist type or the double assist or whatever. And then I started against Brazil because Michael Bradley got a red card, and 2-0 at halftime. We couldn't hold it in the second half. Man, another moment that you look back and think, what if?
I remember that Confederations Cup because it fell on the weekend of my bachelor party, which was epic in Vegas. I mean, epic. It was like 100 people. It was huge. So wow. I was kind of like watching it with one eye, kind of like that. Okay, we move along. Dakug mentioning that Denny Bouanga said he was going to score Saturday. He did. He also said I was going to stay when all the conversation was that he might be moving on to a new club, and he has promised on both of those. Soccer USA, cheers to producer Sarah as always. Sarah not on today. We have producer Will, so maybe you could say something nice for him. Will didn't comb his hair. I'm a little upset in our pre-show meeting. Shout out to Palencia, right place, right time. I don't know how he popped up there from where he arrived. He kind of slipped in there. I had to double check to see who finished that. I thought it was Nate at first. I goes, no, it's Max. You asked some questions from this podcast during the match briefing to Marc Dos Santos. I sure did. Let's talk about this. We played better with Sonny as the fake 9 spot. Let's talk about that. It's such an ugly expression, false 9, fake 9, but it is what it is. Coaches use that, and it's just about getting Sonny in the right position. I think it's a very fluid role for Sonny, and it just works better than if Denny was there or Nate, although Nate's played that position as well, and certainly whomever else, Tyler Boyd. I thought this Tyler Boyd kind of is that glue for those other attacking players because his work rate's so good and he's fast and sneaky and nimble. But what do you think about that for the false 9 role, the right role for Sonny?
Well, I wouldn't consider it that he played the false 9 so much. I think they played with 2 9s, right? And when you play with 2 forwards, people forget, because there's not many teams that play in a 4-4-2 anymore. But when you play with 2 forwards, there's always typically one that makes some runs in behind while the other one kind of checks into certain pockets. And I think that's kind of what I thought the game looked like. It was more of a 4-4-2, almost a 4-2-4, which goes back to like Brazil 1970s days where you play with 2 natural wingers, right? Where Denny Bouanga and Tyler Boyd. You play with 2 center midfielders. That was Tillman and Delgado. And then you play with 2 forwards in Ordaz and Sonny. And of course, there's always one that's going to be, coming a little bit deeper into the pockets. And that's natural for Sonny, whereas it's also natural for Nate to make those runs in behind. So I felt like it was a little bit of, a new experiment that I thought went really well. Now, when you talk about Tyler Boyd, I agree with you. I think you play a guy that's more about off the ball movement, the work ethic defensively, the ability that he has to make other players around him better. But then you have David Martinez on the bench, who we've been raving about all year in terms of his goal scoring ability, his dribbling, his special play ability, right? And so this, to me, looking forward, is going to be by far the hardest job for Marc Dos Santos. And every coach loves this job.
Yeah, they all like the depth. They all like the competition, but then they have to make the selections.
But the most difficult thing about being a coach when you have a really good roster is not handpicking. Like, you can go and easily rank who's the best player on the team all the way down. It's easier to do that. What's harder is to know what puzzle with all the pieces is the best puzzle. That's not always picking 1 through 11, the best players on the field. And so that'll be difficult not only to make a decision on, what those 11 players are at some point, and that won't have to, be done until pretty much playoffs time or maybe Champions Cup time. But that'll be also difficult to have those kind of conversations with players, because what if David Martinez, who's an excellent winger on this team, isn't one of those starting 11 because of Tyler Boyd provides something that, accentuates a little bit more of Denny Bouanga and Sonny's ability. So again, it's going to be tough for Marc Dos Santos to figure out exactly how those pieces mesh. And I thought that the pieces that he put together against Orlando looked really good together.
He might be a decorated U.S. international, but he's also a killjoy sometimes, that Benny Feilhaber. We have 6-0 win. He's like, am I going to fight it? Inside LAFC podcast. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Chimney Cakes. Hello from Europe. New fan here. I followed Sonny from England. So when you say Europe, you mean England? Doesn't matter. We're thrilled to have you here. Come here every Monday. This is a show for the fans where we answer your questions. Sonny is 17th on the all-time Premier League assist list. He's not just a goal scorer. He's also an excellent playmaker with top-level passing ability. His passing was remarkable. Heung Bo duo will make history in MLS. They did Saturday. That 4 assists is Lionel Messi, the 2 that have done 4 or more in a game. Sergi turned Super Saiyan. I don't know what that means. Do I know?
I don't know, but Sergi's one of my favorite players on that team that somehow he's not a star in, he's not a superstar, but man, he's like, there's a reason. He reminds me, he's a different player, but I played with a guy called Seth Sinovic, who was always underappreciated. And Sergi's a class above Seth Sinovic in a lot of ways, but he's still underappreciated, I think, on that team. And I'm glad he got his goal, and I'm glad he made that run, and I'm glad you didn't know that it was him, Max.
Yeah, very good. So Juice323 saying Porteous was key for defending corners and Kosi too. So let's talk. I don't want to bury the lead. This probably should be the lead. Well, not with Sonny gets 4 assists. 6 straight clean sheets. 6 is the magic number. We had Mathieu Choinière, number 66, score those 2 goals. 6 goals against Orlando, 6 straight clean sheets, and 666 is the number of the beast. Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil brings the beast with wrath, for he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast. Sorry, I went off the rails there, but I just love the number 6 because it is a human number. But is
that a sermon? I got lost.
That is at the beginning of Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. It's like Vincent Price or something.
Music. It's
music, but it's spoken word before music.
Got it.
The defending has been watertight against Orlando City. 1 big chance all game. They got some shots kind of late in the thing. They got some on target. So Hugo's been sensational. He had 2 or 3 really challenging saves, but it feels like he's in that zone. But he's getting help. You don't see those moments where there's discussions like, hey, you got to be here. It feels like everyone knows where they have to be. I can't give Nkosi, Tafari, and Ryan Porteous enough credit. Steve Clark, manager of the Scottish national team, please kick the tires on Ryan Porteous. He has challenged himself in MLS. You won't have to travel him in for the World Cup. He's here already. Save some money for the Federation. They'll be really appreciative. And then Nkosi Tafari, if he played like this 3 years ago, he would be, if he was 23, he would be in consideration for the national team as well. I don't know if it could happen now, but that's the kind of talent he's not a national team player, but he'd be in consideration. These 2 guys have been outstanding. Everyone knows their role, whether it's Eddie and Sergi or Ryan, and the midfielders protect that front. It's they played Portland this weekend. I think it's a big game for Portland. My gut says someone finally scores on LAFC because it's a tricky spot to play and it's a rivalry game. But I thought they'd be tested the last 2 games, and they've kind of cruised along when it was 4 straight clean sheets. This team has forgotten what it's like to dig a ball out of the net. And once you forget, you maybe forget permanently.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I agree with you that Portland's going to be the team to do it. Again,
I'm just putting it out there, covering my
any game that you play for 90 minutes, there's a high chance that you're going to give up a chance or 2, and maybe one of those finish in the back of the net. But I wouldn't be, again, if I'm a betting man, I'm not betting against that defense right now. And as much as it's a rivalry game, I'm assuming it's on the road. in Portland?
Yes,
Max,
yeah.
you would know?
I will be broadcasting that game.
And
Danny
there
and I
are
will be up.
well, then I'd consider
afternoon kick, by the way, 1:30 Pacific time.
If the ball goes in the back of the net, you're the jinx then. So
please don't say that. I could get in trouble at work with that. We have very superstitious people at LAFC. Every time I do a broadcast, I get text goes, "Why would you say that?" I go, "Keep these lines clear."
Man. But look, no, the other thing is LAFC is also playing a big game tomorrow night. Yes. And so who knows exactly what it looks like in terms of tomorrow night, how, what that score ends up reflecting. And then there's a game against Portland on the weekend. And I'm assuming the second leg of Cruz Azul is next week on a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Tuesday.
So they're going to have to, finagle with the pieces a little bit. And so we might see a team that's not as cohesive as we've seen thus far. So maybe you're right. I think it might be almost a good thing. A 2-1 win with giving up a goal so that it kind of gets out of their system, because it does eventually have to go through. But we'll see, man. Maybe not. Maybe the lucky number is 7 and not 6.
What do you think about what stood out defensively about why they've been able to get to this point?
Well, I think you're spot on with the 2 center backs, right? Nkosi and Porteous have been fantastic together, and it's the first year that they've played together, and they look like they've been playing together for years now. And I think with the consistency of the players that have been on this team, whether it's Sergi Palencia, Eddie Segura, Mark Delgado, Timothy Tillman. I mean, these guys have played together for so long, and when you build the team to be able to work together, and then you add that the desire that you have superstar goal scorers that are willing to participate on the defensive side of things, I think it just accentuates everything. It's hard to play against LAFC. You look at a team like Arsenal. I think their greatest asset is they're difficult to play against. They're not a team that's going to score 3 or 4 goals every game. They're unified, and they know how to play, and they're difficult to play against. And LAFC are that, right? And for the beginning of the season, you wouldn't have even realized that they're a great offensive powerhouse in this league. You'd be talking about, man, look how resilient they are defensively. They don't give up anything. They're tight in the back, and then they're opportunistic almost on offense, where we follow them for almost a decade now. We know the quality they have going forward, but the defensive aspect is the players have taken a really big stance on what Marc Dos Santos has preached and what he's asked of them. They're all very connected in their movements. And I think it's a big thing that the partnership between Porteous and Nkosi has been excellent.
Inside LAFC podcast, live every Monday, 12:30 Pacific time. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. By the way, Son Heung-min, and we're talking about the Cruz Azul games coming up, the busy calendar. Son Heung-min and Denis Bouanga both subbed out at just before the hour mark, so they didn't put too much tread on there.
Hey, that surprised me. I thought that he would let Sonny stay in there to try and get a goal. And I applaud Marc Dos Santos because he knows that no one player is bigger than the team. He took him out. I'm sure Sonny wanted to get a goal, but Sonny had a fantastic, I thought, attitude coming out. He knows that there's a bigger game coming up on Tuesday. And so, yeah, it was a really good decision. I was surprised by it, but I was applauding it over here.
By the way, I don't know anything about anything, but I would think that maybe this Portland game, because of the surface and so forth, maybe that's a good spot to maybe bring Sonny off the bench and save him for the 2 Tuesday games. Denny's an Iron Man, and then you can rotate all these other guys. And if you lose the game, you lose the game. That's the benefit of starting the way you did. You have some wiggle room, and the goal now is CONCACAF Champions Cup. We're going to preview that. Let's get through some of these comments here. Love seeing an LAFC original here. Still same with Jordan Harvey. That was directed at you. Chimney Cakes coming back. Both of you are cute, but the guy on the right is my type.
That's you, man.
Yeah, that's you. I marry Chimney, but
they must like older guys.
We could become pen pals. Who knows?
Did you hear me, Max?
What was that?
They must like older guys.
Yeah. There's no denying that. I'm definitely I would be classified as older dude, dad bod, whatever you want. Twitter is so annoying right now. Every European account is saying that we subbed off Sun because he exposed MLS without knowing we have a big game tomorrow. Of course, don't listen to these people. And they go, "Oh, the play is so slow in MLS." Man, I watched FA Cup and I was like trying to keep my eyes open. I love the English soccer and FA Cup, and I watched the Italian league. Everything's slow. Everything's slow. You don't have to go 100 miles an hour all the time. It looks slow on TV. It's actually
anybody that says MLS is a boring league to watch, they're trolls, because
I'll tell you this.
It's one of the most exciting leagues to watch.
It is the most exciting league if you like goals and so forth. And I think MLS has to really marry themselves to that and hire coaches, et cetera, that want to play exciting brands and players that want to do that and inherit that space. Because a lot of leagues, the Premier League at the top list, I watch 5 Premier League games a weekend, and it's becoming very tactical and rigid, and a lot of stoppages in play. MLS is trying to speed up play. You look at their new rules with subs and all that. They're trying to speed up the play. So they're on the forefront. We will see. Craig, who's been a big champion of Ryan Porteous getting on the Scottish national team. Scotland announced one more warm-up game before the World Cup, playing Bolivia in New Jersey. Does Ryan have a chance of getting in? Of course, right? Why not? Give him one look. Because Scotland is not really strong in central defense. All due respect to that group. It's not like they have Virgil van Dijk or whomever there. It's a group that play in Scotland by and large. So, Ryan at least got into the EFL Championship and now is playing here.
Yeah, not only that, there's always, whether it's the U.S. national team or any other national team, there's always a handful, maybe 2, 3, 4 guys that make a case in the last couple of months because they're on a heater, right? They're just playing so well, and they're like, oh man, this guy is, as much as he's never played a game with the Scottish national team, he hasn't given up a goal in a year and a half. So let's bring him in and take a look and see what happens. So,
and not a minor detail, Craig. Ryan has played in the U.S. He knows this. He can provide intel. These other players haven't. He is used to playing in this climate. He went to CONCACAF and played there. This is an American World Cup. So having players who play here, I can only imagine is a benefit. You'd be crazy not to at least have that conversation. Really enjoyed the fluidity of positions from the front line. Max and Benny, what is your go-to Mario Kart character? That celebration where they all sat down, that was a Mario Kart thing. I play one video game. It's tennis.
I used to play Mario Kart. Mario Kart was one of the best video games of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is fun, and you can represent other people in race. I don't know the name.
I think mine was oh my goodness, I'm gonna forget the name, but the little dude with like the mushroom hat.
Oh yeah, the turtle dude. Yeah, I forgot.
Whoever asked the question is gonna have to tell me what the name of that. I forget what it is. It's like a short little name, I think.
Remember how the song went? Dun, 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 dun,
Mario Kart is fantastic. It was always good to be in last place until the final lap.
And then catch it, rude. Boyd was a better player defensively than Sonny as a fake
Toad, by the way. It was a turtle. Toad. Isn't Toad the answer?
You're asking the wrong person.
There we go. Toad. Jello Boy told us. There we go.
I like this one. Question for Benny. How would you ease Aaron Long into the mix?
Well, I try and find games like what this Orlando game was like. If you get opportunities like this.
By the way, he could play an LAFC 2 game.
Well, that could be an opportunity as well. Sometimes you want to be careful with those because you never know what you're going to get from the opponents. So maybe, a few minutes here and there in an LAFC 2 game, if you don't think it's too big of a risk. I think a game like this Orlando game could have been a good one as well. If he was ready to go, he can play 15 minutes in a game like that, right? So he can get his feet wet. Or if for some reason, there's only 14 games right before the World Cup break, so 8 more. If for some reason I would say that there's not a perfect time to get him in, I don't think, there's a necessity in getting him back too quickly. But I do think that at some point in these 8 games, you'll find a moment where he can get 15 to 20 minutes where the result is already kind of decided, especially with a team like LAFC that get the lead sometimes and are up by 2 or 3. That's what I'd be waiting for.
I'm being heavily quoted here. They loved my quote. It goes, "We can argue about it, but I'm going to win." And now the new one. I don't know anything about anything. That's another go-to. Thank you, Tac. I saw a really good one. Mark Dos Santos. Tomorrow's game should be a big test for Dos Santos. If we make it to the quarterfinals, if we make it to the semifinals, we're in the quarterfinals, then we'll give it Dos Santos credit. Look, it's a tough crowd. Let's talk about it. LAFC Cruz Azul, CONCACAF Champions Cup, Tuesday night, tomorrow, 7:30 Pacific time. I am hearing 4,000 Cruz Azul fans making their way to BMO Stadium. If you haven't got a ticket, be there. It's going to be a magical night. If LAFC can get by here, they'll face the winner of Toluca and the LA Galaxy. I would imagine it's Toluca because they're probably the best team in the competition. You got by the two Central American teams to play here. I can tell you these magic nights in that building when LAFC played Leon in 2000, was it 19 or 20, in a round of 16, when they played the final against Leon in 2023, and that place was hopping. It's going to be kind of like that. They played Cruz Azul in the 2020 abbreviated tournament, which was in Orlando, and they beat them. Cruz Azul not playing great right now, as they lost at home, which is rare. And they don't play at home. They play in Puebla because Estadio Banorte, Estadio Azteca, where they play, is still being refurbished, even though Mexico played in there. They have not won in a few games, 5 or 6 games. So they're struggling. I think much like Orlando, LAFC is getting Cruz Azul at the right time. You play the first leg at home, so the pressure is you got to get goals and get up on the aggregate. So LAFC have to be aggressive. I think Cruz Azul is going to play them. They're not going to play with a low block. I don't think defensively they're that strong. But guys like Paradela, Ibanez are really good with regards to what they could do. Again, they're not crushing it in Mexico right now, but they are the reigning champs here, so they have to be respected. It's a big name in Mexico. So I'm pulling up the standings here. Cruz Azul are currently in they're second in Mexico, so they're not struggling. I thought they just haven't played well lately.
Lately, I think they've drawn 3. One of them was the second leg, though, that saw them through against Monterrey, and they lost this weekend against Pachuca at home. And so, I mean, look, it's Cruz Azul. They have they've been in this competition. They've won this competition. They're big.
They've won it more. No one's won it more. They've won it 7 times. I think America's won it 7 times as well. So they're no Orlando, Max. I know you said that maybe we're getting them.
There's no comparison, right? Like,
no, this is a super. I'm just comparing them. They're not playing well like Orlando's not.
Correct. Even if they haven't played as well in the last few games, it's a big game. They're going to be up for it, and I do think that LAFC gets them in a relatively good time. And I do think LAFC need to win the first leg to give themselves a true chance. It's going to be extremely difficult if you don't get a win to go into Cruz Azul in Mexico and get a win there. So incredibly important game. I do think LAFC get out with a win, and it'll be a big difference whether they can win by 1 or more than 1 goals. Because if you win by 2 or more, I think it sets up brilliantly for the return leg. Then I think that LAFC could even go to Cruz Azul and maybe get a result there, a win or whatever, because with the defensive prowess and the ability to counterattack, I think it becomes too big of a two-headed monster for Cruz Azul to deal with. But if you don't get the win and the game is, a 1-1 final, and now you're going to Cruz Azul and having to kind of figure out the balance of the game, it becomes much more difficult. And look, these teams are experienced. The players, as much as they're not as star players as some of the LAFC players are, they're just so clever in the dark arts and getting the referee on their side and wasting time when it needs to be wasted. And they get on people's.
He's got to learn those things, and but that's why I'm sorry to interrupt you, Benny, but this group has played these games now, so they can learn about time wasting and dark arts. I remember they played Tigres in that Campeones Cup. They lost that game because Tigres were locked into those sensibilities where LAFC wasn't. But you've got to, even if it feels it's beneath you, do it. Winning trumps everything.
Yeah.
How's your dark arts?
I was pretty good for an American. I was probably below average for a Brazilian.
Exactly. Okay.
Americans are too nice on the field.
They are, but that's what holds us back. We can't be nice. We got to be. We say we can cheat. Screw it.
It's you got to hate the player, not the game, or hate the game, not the player. That's what it is. Hate the game, not the player. So.
I may have said 7:30 at BMO. It's 7. I apologize if I confuse you. Don't show up late. I'd hate for that to be on me. If it is, I'll buy you a beer or a coffee once you get there. 7 o'clock BMO. Go to LAFC.com, see if you get tickets. I know it's a hot ticket, and this hopefully will set things up. I can't wait to be there. It's going to be amazing. Sonny will score tomorrow, someone said. Okay, good. I think so. He'll be ready. He got a little anyone who says MLS is boring did not follow MLS in the early 2000s. Even this weekend, it was amazing. Goals everywhere. It was a tremendous. You got a lot of people knew it was Toad, so you're good about that. My parents are big Toluca fans. If we play them, we will be driving separate cars. Nice. Plus, we should be aggressive with the importance of the away goal. That's what Cruz Azul will be looking. Get an away goal here, and that will swing in their favor. But that said, this LAFC defense, and they've already had away games. They know what it's like. I feel really confident that they, at the very least, could limit goals to maybe one. Yeah. I don't think they're going to get run up here by.
Are away goals part of the aggregate score still?
Yes, they are
all the way through.
Yes.
Okay.
So away goals matter. So in the tiebreakers, away goals is the first breakdown. Okay. Can't stand dark arts methods. You don't have to like it. I hate it. I hate it. But you get left behind.
Let me. I'll throw a little analysis here for the dark arts. There are certain things about dark arts that are, in my opinion, mandatory for you to be successful, and that has nothing to do with like the things that I hate: time wasting, pretending to be injured. Those things I cannot stand, and I would love every single rule to be adjusted so that is not part of the game. However, referees can't see fouls unless you make it look like a foul. If you get grabbed and you don't fall down, referees don't call fouls. If you get kicked and you don't make it obvious that you got kicked, referees don't call penalties. And so in that sense, you have to also be somewhat of an actor. If you get kicked in the shin, you better fall down and grab your shin and yell to high heaven so that the referee knows that you definitely got kicked, because those things are missed frequently. And so that's what I think I mean by dark arts, that you need to play a part of that part of the game, or else you're going to be left behind. But the time wasting and the theatrics, I cannot stand that stuff. I would love that to be banned as well.
Well said. Okay, but they're not banning it. Until they ban it, you got to keep up with the Joneses. Good stuff, Benny. Quick question. Damn, Will, comb your hair next time. Thank you. Thank you. Will getting grief for not combing his hair. LAFC does have some good actors, LOL. Yeah, whatever, man. I'm looking forward to some of those moments of dark arts. We'll see. We will recap that game, and we will preview leg 2 next week, Benny. So good to see you. Thanks for your knowledge and your know-how.
I'll see you next week, Max.
I am Max Bretos. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to leave a comment here or leave it in the YouTube section, we will answer it next week. Appreciate all you joining us. Until we meet again, this is Max saying, let's go black and gold.